Hey, Mariya, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to chat with you today.
Yes, me too. So why don't we start off, just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Yeah, so my name is Mariya. I am the owner and founder of MBM Agency, which is a digital marketing company, and we primarily specialize in creating profitable websites. And how we do that is, one, making sure that your website shows up on Google and people are searching for it. And then two, when people actually get onto your website, that they connect with the message, they see that you have authority in your industry and that you're a trustworthy person to work with.
Amazing. How did you get into that?
So I've always loved tech. I've always loved design. I have this funny story. So back in high school, when MySpace was still around for my age people, but I got into the whole MySpace templates, redesigning my own, having my own little template shop for fun. So I feel like that was my first kind of step into getting into web design. And then I eventually went into marketing, did digital marketing for a while. I worked for a company as their marketing manager. And within that, I realized hey, I can actually do this for other people. So I started a side hustle and then it grew from there. And I did kind of all marketing things just because I was in marketing originally, but ended up honing in and niching down to website design because that was my first love in marketing and I love it.
Cool. So you're an expert in SEO. So let's chat all things SEO today.
Yes.
For someone who has no idea, what is SEO?
Yes. So great question, because I feel like most people are very confused by it, but it stands for search engine optimization. And a very simple way that I like to explain it is basically, if you're going onto Google and you're typing in, let's say, web design agency, for example, you're typing in web design agency and Google pulls up websites that they know is relevant to a search. So for example, if you have a website and you don't include that keyword in on it anywhere, maybe only one time, but you don't have it, multiple times in your copy, Google has no idea that your website is relevant to that search. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So just making sure that Google understands what you're about.
Okay. So what are some of the core principles of SEO?
Yes. So I have some advice for your listeners. And if they're listening, take out a notebook, bring out your phone notes. But some things that I like to get people kind of get a jump start in their SEO plan is sit down and think about what keywords people would search on Google to find your business. So let's use your business, for example. What are the first 3 keywords that come up to mind?
Pinterest marketing.
Yes. Okay. So that is a good one. So you're going to write down Pinterest marketing company, Pinterest marketing agency, Pinterest marketer, right? All these different variations that people would use to find your business. Then I have this amazing tool. It's called Ubersuggest.
Yes.
Do you know it?
We had Neil Patel on the podcast last year. He's awesome.
Oh my God. I love Neil Patel. So he created this amazing tool. They have a paid version and they have an amazing free version, which I recommend to a lot of my listeners and friends who are kind of diving into it a little bit. But if you go to it's neilpatel.com/Ubersuggest and you type in these keywords. So you type in Pinterest marketer, right? And you're going to write down how many searches per month does it get? Is it easy or not to rank for? So what you're looking for is the ones that have the most amount of monthly searches and are easy to rank for, meaning the keyword is not competitive. And then once you select your main keyword, you're going to input it on your website. You're going to want to input it 1 time in a main header, 2 times in a subheader, and 3 times in the body of not each paragraph, but in the text of each page.
Got it.
So that's kind of jump starting you into making sure Google understands that your website.
That just be on the home page, or could this be within a blog post or an About Me page? Where would you put this?
So if you work with our company, we do one more general keyword on your home page. We do a keyword on your About page. We focus on if you have different services. For us, for instance, we have 4 different services. So we have website design, SEO, sales page design. So for the sales page, service page, we're using a sales page keyword. For the SEO page, we're using SEO keyword. And then also with every blog that you write, I would definitely recommend focusing on a keyword.
Okay. How do you create content with those keywords in mind? Do you like this is what I see a lot of people do. So like I know the answer, but I'm gonna ask you anyway so people can find out.
I love
Like,
it.
would you just create a blog post and then find keywords in it after the fact, or would you start with the keyword in mind?
So I would do like I would use Uber Suggest, and I would kind of look, because what I love about them too is they recommend keywords, right? They show you like what other keywords people are using. So sometimes I'll be looking at it and I will come up with ideas. Like it'll give me ideas of what to write about. For example, we sell website templates. And as I was looking through Uber Suggest one time, I was seeing that website templates was kind of a highly searched word. So then I started inputting like, I don't know, how to make a template, how to use a template, all these different things. And then I like came up with some ideas of how I can create a website, or I mean a blog post using those keywords. And then I would go in, I would write the blog. I'm not even going to be thinking about the keyword. I mean, the keyword inspired the topic,
Right.
but I'm going to write it as a regular blog post. And then after I go in and put the keyword in the title and put it in the headers and put it in the text.
Okay. And how many times do you want to have the keyword within this blog post? And how long should the blog post be to rank on Google?
So I would say at least 500 words. 500 to 1,000 is a pretty good little frame. And I would include it one time in the title, 2 times in a subheader, and then 3 times in just the body.
Okay. All right, I want to make sure I'm asking this the right way. So, in the title, if my keyword is Pinterest marketing, would the title just be Pinterest marketing or would it be Pinterest marketing for beginners?
Yeah, so you want it to be super enticing, super, click worthy, that people would click worthy, but you want to include the keyword in there. So yes, Pinterest marketer for beginners, or, top 4 Pinterest marketing tips or something like that.
Okay. And does the keyword have to be at the very beginning of the title or can it be throughout the title?
It can be throughout. You don't want
And
it to be like a super, super long title, but it can be throughout.
and does it have to be all one piece together or could it be like Pinterest, how to do marketing for beginners?
Yeah, so Google's pretty good at telling, so you can have that variation. It'll pick it up still.
Okay, I like it. I like it. I like it. Okay, so we got the content, we got where we're gonna put it, how many times throughout the post. Are there any tools that you use on your blog to make this easier so you're not like having to think, is this optimized for SEO?
That is a great question. Yes, so different platforms have different little tools. WordPress has, I'm sure you've probably heard of it, Yoast.
That's what we use.
SEO, yeah. So they basically it's a plugin you input on your website, and even on each page, even on each blog post, they're going to show you kind of your ranking and just show you what you need to fix, which is really awesome. There's another Google Chrome extension called Lighthouse.
Ooh, I
So
don't know this one. I'm
yeah,
taking
okay, this
notes.
is good. And it's free, which I love free. So it's a Google extension called Lighthouse. You can get your blog post link, you can get even the pages of your website, and you're going to input the link on it, and it's going to show you your SEO ranking. It's going to show you how easy your website is to navigate and kind of give you a score. And if you have a low score on something, they're going to recommend, maybe you need to make your video file size smaller, or just random things like that, which is really helpful.
Okay, that's amazing. Do you recommend the free version of Yoast or the paid version?
I think if you're starting out, free is pretty good. They still have a very good, like a lot of information.
Mhm.
But if you really want to dig deep and you want to focus on SEO like every month, or if you're working with an agency or something like that, then I would definitely recommend paid, just because there's so much more that you can do. They show you so many more information and tips and things like that.
Okay. Should you try to rank for the same keyword more than once?
That's a great question. So I do. So for example, I will say one of our main keywords is like web design agency.
Mhm.
So I have it for our homepage. I have it on one of our service pages, and then every so often I'll do blogs ranking for that keyword, because you never know what's going to pop up when, what's newer, what's older. So I do kind of rank for multiple ones on just throughout different times. And
Got it. How do you track how well your website's actually ranking?
So Uber suggests they also
Neil Patel is just amazing. He's creating
he
all
is.
these awesome tools for us.
He
Man.
is. But so Uber suggests also they have a site auditor where they kind of show you, how well your site is doing, what keywords you're ranking for, things like that. But another tool that I use is Google Analytics. You can kind of see how well you're showing up. And then another one that I love, which I'm surprised a lot of people don't know about, but have you heard of Google Search Console?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I love Google Search Console because then you can go on it and it just shows you your analytics from Google Search. So it tells you how many times you're popping up when some people are searching for a keyword, how many people are actually clicking onto your website from that keyword, which pages are showing up more. So it gives you so much more analytics so you can see, what you can focus on, what new blog posts can you write about to try to rank for something. So I love looking at that data. I feel like it inspires me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's say I'm trying to rank for Pinterest marketing and I want to be at the top and I see there's like 5 people that are ahead of me for that keyword. What would I need to do to beat them?
That is such a great question. Let me think about this. So with Google ranking, there's so many different factors that go into it. So sometimes the older a website is, the more like authority they have on Google. So it depends on that. And I will say what we recommend to our new clients or new people that we work with is starting with keywords that are not hard to rank for, that are not as competitive. So starting with the easier ones. And Uber Suggest tells you if it's hard to rank for or easy to rank for. But I would keep updating your website because one thing that Google likes is a fresh website. So posting blog posts every so often on a regular basis really helps. Another tip, which I'm sure you probably know with Pinterest, is renaming your images to make sure that they include the keyword because then it gives you just more search ability. And just refreshing your website, I think, is probably going to be my main tip because if you have a newer website, Google might not see that you have the authority, but if you keep adding value and you keep posting blogs, ranking for that keyword, they're going to see that, okay, you may be new, but you do have the authority and you consistently refresh your website so they know you're active. So they're going to start showing your things a lot more.
By refresh, you mean just posting like a new blog post every week? Do we need to do more often than that? Less often? What would you suggest?
Whatever you can commit to, that's what I would do. So if you can do every day, that's great. Some people can't do that, right? I have some clients that just do once a month, but whatever they pick, just stick to that consistent schedule.
Should we go back and update blog posts that are a year old?
That's a great question. You can kind of include new information, or if there's like some new studies out, or make it more relevant to the current times, you can definitely do that.
Do you have an easy way that you would like organize your blog content in like a spreadsheet or something where you would go back and be like, this is the last date I updated this one?
I actually don't know. I would say we consistently update our blogs, ours and our clients, at least once a month, if not more.
Every single blog post you update once a
month?
Every
blog post.
I was like, holy crap.
No, that's a lot. No, like a new one, adding a new one at least once a month.
Adding a new one. Okay. I was like, oh man, I don't think
that would be a lot to go through. No.
What are some other SEO hacks you would suggest?
That is okay. So the image one is the main one that I feel like a lot of people forget. I feel like if you know Pinterest, I feel like Pinterest is kind of the same thing. Another one is going back onto your back end. So finding where those meta titles and descriptions are. So that people don't see it necessarily going onto your website, but it's if someone's searching you on Google, they're seeing what's popping out, right? That title and that description that they see. Does that make sense? So that's the meta title and description. So when you go into your meta title and description, you want to include the keyword in the description, and you want to make sure the title is like, I don't want to say clickbaity, but something that's super enticing for people to click on. Making sure the description is kind of summarizing the page, having a call to action so people really see what the page is about, and especially for your blog posts too. To making sure that it's clickable, that people want to click it, that people want to be intrigued to read it. So that's something that helps. Another thing that is really helpful, which kind of shows Google that your website has authority, is having links link back to your website. So like things like Pinterest, posting something on Pinterest, linking it back to your blog, linking it back to a page on your website. The more links you have back onto your website shows Google that your website has more authority, which in return, they're going to kind of start pushing your content more to the top. So if you're doing like podcast interviews, you want to link your website back, or the podcast interview description back to your website. If you do any press, like always link back to your website because it builds your presence on Google.
Okay. So question, I
Yes.
typically link to a freebie that I'm doing and possibly my website, but always a freebie. If I use a pretty link, so it's like rachelandngom.com/cheat sheet that redirects to a ClickFunnels URL, does that count as linking to my website or not?
Not necessarily, because the platform that it's on is on ClickFunnels.
Okay, so even though I used a pretty link, it doesn't count?
Yeah.
Darn
yeah.
it.
So you can like create a page on your website that has, you know, almost like a landing page, just like a little preview, and then link it to ClickFunnels.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, I like that idea. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What are some tips that you have for creating a profitable website?
Yes. So the very first thing that we start focusing on with our clients is that searchability aspect, because like a lot of people, a lot of marketers, online marketers, they're marketing themselves, they are selling themselves. So a lot of times people go onto your website right from Instagram or from Facebook or from like a networking event. But there's so many people going on Google and searching for these services that maybe are not on Instagram. Like maybe they're an older generation, they're not necessarily on social media, but they need a new website, or they want to see how can they update their marketing plan for their current businesses. There's so many people that are going on Google. So that's the first thing, is making sure your website is showing up. But once people find you on Google and they get onto your website, you want to make sure that they're not going to like look at your website and then click out of it. So a few things that we kind of created our own homepage formula. So this is when I was talking about like making sure that people know that you have authority in your industry, that you're trustworthy. So a few things that I would recommend adding to your homepage is stats. So stats really show authority. So stats could be like, how many clients have you worked with? If you have any impressive numbers or percentages that you've helped people grow, or like on our site, we show how many people we've brought to their website, how many leads have come to their website. We have clients who show stats about how many years have they been in business, how many clients have they served, we know how many cities do they serve. So just showing at least 3 statistics that show your authority in your business, because people will be like, okay, like they know what they're talking about. Another thing is adding testimonials, and more specifically video testimonials. Those are very, very highly effective because with video testimonials, you cannot fake the emotion, the facial expressions, things like that. So on our site, we have the video testimonials on the homepage, but then we also have a portfolio page where we have the video testimonials up top, then our portfolio after, which I love using after a sales call as kind of like the last, like push after the sales call. I send them like, hey, so nice chatting with you. If you want to take if you want to take a look at more of our work, here's a link. And then immediately they see the video testimonials. I feel like even if people don't watch them, the fact that they see there's many video testimonials and the people went out of their way to film it, they're like, wow, okay, like they must be legit.
I like that. Is there a way to add those to your website without slowing it down?
Yeah, so just each platform you'll have to see, but basically it's the video file size, or you can also link it from YouTube.
Got it. Okay, so you can just embed the YouTube video.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. What other tips do you have? Anything
Let's
I missed?
Let's see. I feel like we got a good, and just on your website, one thing that I see a lot of people is just not being clear at what they do. Mm-hmm. And they like to explain a lot of things, or they like to use very creative language. And we have to remember that everyone is reading, what is it, like 3rd grade level, 6th grade level, something like that. So we need to make it very, very simple, because I've had clients come to me when they signed on to redesign their website, and I go onto their website and I'm like, if I didn't have a phone call conversation with them, learning about their business, I would have no idea what they do, because their website language is so confusing.
Yep.
So just keeping it simple, keeping it very like very, very specific. Like, hey, we're a website design agency that makes profitable websites. You know, we're a website design agency. Do you need a website? Like just very, very, very simple.
The first book I send my Activate students, it's our high-level group coaching program. I send them Build the Story Brand by Donald Miller. And that, like, oh my gosh, it's such a good book.
I
And
love it.
just be clear, not clever. I think that's huge.
And I will say, like, I love Donald Miller, Story Brand, his book Story Brand. I will say, so we created a homepage formula that we use with all of our clients.
Mm-hmm.
I will say it is heavily inspired by Story Brand.
Amazing. He's just brilliant.
Yes.
Yeah, and what he teaches works. So very
Yes.
cool. What's the best book you've read besides Building a Story Brand?
Yes, I know. That was definitely going to be mine. Well, I will say it's not necessarily websites, but if people are building a business, one book that changed my life in the beginning of my business was You're a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero.
That's a good one.
Yes, that's the one. Like if anyone asks me that question, I'm like, that's the first book you need to read. If I have friends or my little brother, he's just kind of like tipping his toes into entrepreneurships and he keeps texting me, you know, like different things. I'm like, I sent him the book. I'm like, hey, you need to like read this before talking to me because it's all about your money mindset. And so I have a podcast too, and it's called The Marketing Mindset. And it is because I truly believe that in order to build a successful business, you need the right marketing plan, obviously, but then also you need the right mindset, because I feel like if your mindset is not right, your money mindset is not right, it is so easy to just get lost and give up while you're growing it. So that book, I feel like it changed my life, and I still re-listen to it like at least every 3 months.
I've read or listened to it at least 3 times, and now that you're saying that, it's been a couple years since I've listened to it. So I'm like, I should probably do a refresher. You know, like repetition is the mother of skill, so I could probably go for it again.
Yes, and I read so many money mindset books after hers, but maybe it was my first one. I don't know, but that is just has been my ultimate fave.
So good. What does it mean to you to make an impact?
Ooh, that is such a good question. I think for me, I will say what I've had a fire in my heart is just, even though we do websites, but while we talk with our clients and kind of guide them through this thing, the most inspiring thing where I feel like we're making an impact is helping them just be so excited about their business, helping them be, you know, looking into the future, kind of dreaming, seeing what is possible. And I feel like that's my goal in making an impact, is just to inspire people to be like, wow, I can actually do this. This can happen for me. And then just inspire them to do it.
Yes. Where can we connect with you?
So my platform of choice is Instagram, I will say. So you can find me at Mariya Bentz, and I spell it MariyaBentz. And then also our website, mbmagency.com. We also have some good little website freebies. We have our homepage formula on there. And yeah.
Cool. Well, Mariya, thank you so much for being on the show. I learned a lot. Thank you for just being here and adding value to our audience. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.